Hi, Mia. Do you want to say hi to the people? I'm about to start recording and now you're in my way. Say hi, Mia. Here you are. You want to sit? Guys, she's going to be sitting down here while I work, so if I seem distracted, that's why. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel if you are new. If you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today is the long-awaited day. I'm going to be doing my book unhaul video. I mentioned a little over a month ago at this point that I hauled some books and now I need to unhaul some so I can fit some on my shelf. And as you can see, it's looking pretty bare behind me. I kind of went through and I got rid of what I consider a lot, but I know this isn't even like half of my shelf. And compared to how much I bought, it's really not much, but you know, it's a start. And I've been saying I need to unhaul some of these for a while. So yeah, I'm finally gonna do that. Some of these books you might know I'm unhauling based off of like what I've said in previous videos about them. Some of them you might honestly be shocked by. I've kind of just been picking and choosing as the weeks have gone by. I haven't like just gone through them in one quick swipe. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to get rid of. And so I think this is like a pretty done list. If I end up unhauling some more, I'll let you guys know like later down the line, but no, I think this is dead set. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. I haven't counted them yet, so like for all I know, this probably like really isn't much, but it's like 2 stacks. So I think I did a good job in that department. I don't like to hoard books. I think you guys know this. Like I have tiny bookshelves, not because I don't have the space for a big bookshelf, but simply because it helps me contain my problem of getting too many books. Like I know I've reached my limit when my shelves are starting to look as crazy as they currently are. So that's always like a good sign for me to like donate books. And then whenever I decide to move out, I will hopefully have my own dream library where I can just hoard, but it's never really my goal. So I never mind getting rid of books. I actually think it's kind of therapeutic just to like go through the ones that I don't want anymore. And they're for different reasons. Some of them is just because I didn't like them. Some are just because, you know, like I haven't looked at this book in a while and I don't feel the need to like reread it or pick it back up again or recommend it in future videos. Some are just like, I loved this at a time and I think I've outgrown it, and that's completely okay. Each book has their own personal reason, and I don't think I'm going to go through every reason behind each of these, but just know these books have had their time on my shelf and now they're done. First book is one that I hauled I think last year, and I realized while going through my shelves earlier that like I keep overlooking this book because of how small it is, but that's why it hasn't been unhauled yet, because I realized that like this does not need to be on my shelf. Whiskey Words and a Shovel by R.H. Sin. Is it gonna focus? Yeah, it's focusing. It's just too white to focus. Oh no. This is a poetry book that I got simply because it's annotated, and I thought that was cute. Like a fun way to read a poetry book is if it's annotated by someone else. Who it's annotated by, I don't know. I bought this used for like a couple of bucks. I don't really know why I got this. I think I got it just because of the aesthetic of having a book that's annotated by someone you don't know. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting a book just because of aesthetics. Like I think that's fine. But for me, it's like, why a poetry book? Like I'm not even into poetry. I don't know why I got this at the time I got it. And also this is a sequel. I don't know if you can see that. It has the Roman numerals too. I don't think it really matters the order you read these in, but like out of all of them, why get the sequel? Like I was just like, my mom is having fun downstairs if you can hear her. Sorry about that. I don't know. Everything about this purchase, like when I actually saw this book earlier, I had to laugh because I totally forgot I got this because I have not picked it up since I bought it. So that's a clear sign that I need to get rid of it. Now the next book I'm about to show you guys is definitely going to be surprising because I brought up this book in a previous video recently and wanting to read it. I tried. I got through like a few chapters of it and I just realized this book is not for me, and yeah, that's all there is to it. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. You guys know that this is one of my TBR books for this month that I wanted to tackle, and I actually tried. I did, but this book just isn't good to me. The writing style is not my favorite, and I just knew, like, I was maybe 5 chapters in at least, and I was like, this isn't gonna hit the way I wanted to. Usually I give it into like the halfway point for books to like win me over, but I don't know, I'm just not feeling all that patient these days. Like, if you don't hit right away, then like I'd rather not waste my time. This was recommended to me by a friend, and I feel really bad because she loves Danielle L. Jensen's books, and so I already explained this in a previous video, but I was like, tell me where to start with her books because I'm genuinely curious and I think I'll read it. And she recommended this one, and so maybe this one just wasn't the best one to start with. Maybe I should start with a different series from her, or if she has any standalones, maybe I'll start with that. But A Fate Inked in Blood wasn't doing it for me personally. And with that being said, I know that this went with a TBR prompt, so I replaced another book for that TBR prompt. You guys are going to know what book that is when my reading wrap up comes around. But yeah, I couldn't do it. Usually I'm better at it, but like I said, I'm not having the ambition to get through books that I don't like off the bat. I call it growth as a reader, or maybe a decline as a reader. But yeah, pushing myself through that was not gonna be it for the month of October. Okay, next book is one I've had on my shelf for the past few years because I'm always convinced that I'm going to read this book during the summer because it fits the vibe of summer, and I like seasonal books. Like, it's something to look forward to when a certain season comes in the year. But with every summer that passes, I never read this book, and I think it's time that I realized I just don't want to anymore. Maybe I did in the moment when I bought it, like as a cute idea, but like I know I don't want to do it anymore. The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This is a YA book, I believe. YA romance, I think. Yeah, I bought this like 3 years ago at this point, maybe longer, and I just have to come to terms with it. I'm not gonna read this. And I've heard like good things about it, to be fair. Like, no one has ever, that I've seen, has ever been like, oh, this book is really, really bad. It's just not calling to me. So I think I gotta let it go. These next 2 books are definitely going to surprise you guys because this is an author that I auto buy. Like, you guys know when this author is mentioned in a video, I can't shut up about them ever. So the fact that I'm getting rid of 2 of their books is, like I said, shocking. But I have realized over time that I'm never going to continue this specific series from them because I wasn't really amazed by the first book. And I have like a reading vlog for the first book, kind of. So if you want to check it out, you can. I'm getting rid of The Kingmaker duology by Kennedy Ryan. The Kingmaker and the Rebel King. I read The Kingmaker, I want to say 2 years ago, and while I had fun with it in the moment, it was definitely one of Kennedy Ryan's weakest romances for me. Now again, this is coming from someone who has only read the Skyland series, which is I think her latest series. Yeah, she hasn't written anything for the past couple of years besides the Skyland series, so I'm not really familiar with her earlier work. I think her writing has gotten better over the years because her writing for these books, it's not bad by any means, don't get me wrong. It's just like comparatively, it's not hitting the same. And I feel like the couple in this book is a little wild to me. It's age gap, which is something that I personally don't read because the age gap, you could arguably say the age gap starts when like the female main character is a minor, but then because of all of the time jumps in this book, it's not really gross, but it felt gross to me. But also all the time jumps make the writing and their story, like the love story itself, seem choppy, and I just wasn't a fan. And I think that the only reason why this book won me over was because of like the B plot having to do with like the politics of the story, because it literally takes place in like a political landscape. I think the main guy, he's a part of like a rich family that has to do with like politics, and the girl is like an activist, so they're always butting heads against each other. And that part of the story was interesting. If there's one thing Kennedy Ryan is going to do, it's have a subliminal message in her book that you are going to end up loving. And I think that the message having to do with the activism in this book really won me over. The romance though wasn't for me, and so because of that, I've never ever picked up The Rebel King. I've had both of these books, both of them, for years, and I've never felt the need to grab The Rebel King and actually finish this because it's just a duology. There's no more than 2 books. I think that's a sign that I need to get rid of it. I hate that for me because I love Kennedy Ryan, but you know, not all authors can just have like a non-skip portfolio, you know? And again, these aren't bad books. I just don't need to own them. I know I don't. There's just no reason to. Okay, next one is a book that I read this year. So if you've watched one of my reading wrap-ups, you already know about this book and that I enjoyed it, but sadly not enough to keep it. I finally read Finding Jupiter by Kellis Rowe. This is a book that was on my shelf for around the same amount of time that The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan was on my shelf. I've had this book for years and I finally read it this year and it was good. I liked it. It's a YA romance, so I was gonna eat it up. The characters, very complex, and the story itself had a lot of elements. Sometimes I thought I had too much. I was reading a lot, and it's not that big, not that long. So I was like, we're trying to fit a lot in here, but I like what the author was trying to do with the story. Because if I'm being honest, I've never read a YA romance, or honestly any romance like this. Like the way that it's done through like the prose and the poetry, what the characters are going through internally and externally in their lives. It was like really well done, I think, but it's just not something that I would like to keep on my shelf. Minus the fact that the cover is stunning. The cover is so pretty. Do I want to keep this? No. Do I? It's such a pretty cover. I think that's the only reason why I would though. I would recommend this to people, but I don't love it. I only want to keep books that I love, and I think I gave that book like a 3. It's not a bad rating, just to be clear, but it's not like, oh, I loved this book level. You know what I mean? Oof. Okay, same with the next one. This next book is one that I've had for years. I read it a few years ago and I think I really enjoyed it, but every time I look at this book, I just think of how outlandish it is. And I think I only enjoyed it for like the messiness of it. As a book itself, I don't know how I feel about this book. It's been years and I'm still gagged at the fact that this author wrote this. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. This is the only book I've read by this author. I've heard amazing things. Like, everyone hypes up Akwaeke Emezi's books, every single one. This is the only one I've read, and funnily enough, I think this is the one that people talk about the least, which I don't think that's like a good or bad thing. It's just I've noticed that no one talks about this book out in the wild. Now again, this book has been confusing me for a long time. I read this book like almost as soon as I bought it. I think I picked it up and read it simply because I was interested in Akwaeke Emezi's writing. I don't know how to explain the wildness of this book. Like, you don't think it could get worse, and then you turn a page, and not worse as in like, oh, it's bad. Like, the situation for the characters, all of them just gets worse and worse to the point I got secondhand embarrassment reading this book, and I can't really go into it without possibly spoiling some things. So I suggest you read this and tell me your thoughts, because it's not a bad book. It's just like, why would you write this? Because it's one of those books where I feel like every character in it is in the wrong, and every character in this book frustrates me. Like, every single one. I look at this book and I get frustrated, and that's not good. It's good for a book to make you emotional and pull out emotions within you, but to look at a book and just get mad, I don't want that for me. I think I've kept it simply because it's my only Akwaeke Emezi book. I think the only other book I have by them is an arc that I have not read yet, but I think that there has to be better Akwaeke Emezi books out there, and I think that this was a good introduction to their writing and their writing style, everything like that. I can't look at this book anymore. It's wild. I highly suggest you read it. I don't recommend it, but this book could easily spark conversation. Actually, this is a lie. I have seen people talk about this book, and the amount of conversation it sparks is so entertaining to me, because you could find people with completely opposite takes. Usually, like 9 times out of 10, you get like a popular book out into the world of like TikTok discourse or whatever. Most people are going to have like one side, while some people might be on another side. There are like several sides to the fandom of this book here, and I think that's the only time, minus like ACOTAR, that I've ever experienced something like that, especially for like just a fiction book. Crazy. I have to get rid of it though. Like, I can't look at it anymore. It's Stunning cover though. I love the cover. Okay, now these next two books are also ones that I have brainwashed myself into convincing to keep because one day I'm going to read them, right? I've had these books, I don't even know. One of them has been collecting dust on my shelves for, I want to say since the start of my booktube channel, or maybe even before that. And one of them is an arc by the same author, and I just realized there's no way I'm going to be reading either of these because I don't feel the need to pick it up. I, again, kept them because, oh my god, the cover is so pretty, but come on, I know myself, I'm not gonna read these. You've Reached Sam by Dustin Towell, and When Haru Was Here, also by Dustin Towell. This one is an arc. This one, yeah, there's no excuse. This one has been on my shelf for a while. Too long. I got this arc like a little over a year ago, so it's not as bad, but still, I've never picked either of these books up. And again, look at these. Beautiful, gorgeous. But whenever I think about Dustin Towell's books, I just get sad because I know the premises of his books and I don't think I'm going to like voluntarily pick them up. And you know me, I love a sad book. I do. But something about these, like, I feel like they will do emotional damage that can't be repaired. So something about that, I just don't want to get into it. I don't want to read it, and I think that's okay. But it does make me sad though, because they have been on my shelves for a long time. Something about it is just like, because these books, specifically You've Reached Sam, has been on my shelf for a while. Like, I remember, I think I got You've Reached Sam around the time I got back into reading. So something about that just makes me not want to let it go, because like, it's one of those fond memories I look back on of like being back in like bookstores and in my reading era, like back during quarantine, and just having fun, like finding books that I think I would want. And to finally like be getting rid of it, it just hits me way too close to home, like right in the chest. But I know it's time to go. I'm gonna be like donating all of these or like giving them to like used bookstores, so they're gonna be going to people that I know would appreciate them more than I would, because if I haven't picked it up, then there's no reason to keep them, and I know that, but I don't know. It just makes me really sad to let them go. Next book is one that is the sequel to a book that I read earlier this year. Yeah, I have no words to describe why I'm letting this one go. I just am. Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. If you guys don't remember, I read the first book in this series, the Wayward Children series. I don't remember what it's called. It's somewhere here. No, I think the other book is somewhere in this pile. Wait a minute. Every Heart a Doorway. I read this a few months ago. This is the sequel to it. This book series has at least like 10 books in it. So it's long and the books are short, very easy to get through. I had a weird time with this first one, but I liked it. I did. However, because of how short these books are, I don't need to own them. This is a book series that I've been wanting to get to for a long time, and the fact that I finally tackled it this year makes me happy. But looking at these books and how short they are and what they're about, how much I enjoyed them, specifically the first one, again, I haven't read the sequel yet, I know I don't need to keep them. I know this, so I'm gonna let them go. No bad blood either, because I think I want to continue the series. I don't know. That first book was weird. It was so weird. It's portal fantasy, so I'd never read anything like that before, and it was just freaking me out. Also, the plot, the story, it was unique in its own way, but just very, very weird. And I think I have to be in a specific mood to continue the series, but I do want to continue it. But with that being said, because I don't think I'm going to be picking it back up anytime soon, I don't need to own it. I could probably check it out from the library. I hope. My library doesn't really have the books that I read, but I could probably find it somewhere else. Like, you know, it's one of those series that, although I like it, do I need to keep it? No. Okay, next book is an arc that a friend gave to me because she thought I would like it, and I feel bad to this friend because I didn't end up reading it because the title is just like so corny, and that's really the reason why. It's a romance though, so it's allowed to be corny. It's something about it was putting me off, so I didn't read it. Pardon My Frenchie by Farah Roshan. I've heard about Farah Roshan's books. I've heard good things. Something about this though wasn't gravitating towards me. I got this book like a little over a year ago and never picked it up. Never felt the need to. And you know, I have a lot of romance on my shelf, and that's one of the genres on my shelf that I really needed to clean out. So far, it's just been mostly fiction stuff and sci-fi fantasy. I really need to get through my romance shelves. But here's the thing, a lot of romances I pick up because I know I'm going to like them. Like, I never go into a romance not knowing what the tropes are usually, or it's usually a romance written by an author that I know I'm going to like. So a lot of the romance I end up keeping because I know my taste. Whereas with sci-fi fantasy, I think it's fun to dive into different types of fantasy and sci-fi books because there's so much that you can do with that genre. With romance, I'm more picky. So I don't get rid of romance that often, and I don't really see myself doing so in the future, but romance has begun to take over a lot on my shelf. So I do need to tackle that somehow, some way, someday. Not today though. We're not doing that today, but I am getting rid of one. This could be like the cutest book of all time. I would never know though because I don't want to read it, and I think that's okay. On to the next. Now the next book is one that you guys know about because I was fairly disappointed in this book. And I said so in my reading wrap up. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Why wait? Like, let's not waste any time. I know I didn't like this book, and I know I'm not going to read the sequel, which is also in the pile, but it's at the bottom, so I don't feel like getting it. I know I'm not going to read this book, so let's not kid ourselves, you know? It's kind of the same way I feel about A Fate Inked in Blood. If I know I'm not getting the right vibes, then like, why am I gonna keep you, you know? And this one I actually read all the way. Unlike A Fate Inked in Blood, I actually read through this whole entire thing. You guys know in my reading wrap up, my previous video, I was so disappointed in this book, and I hate that I hated it. And hate is a strong word. I don't usually hate books. I thoroughly despise this book, and if you want to know why, you can check my reading wrap up. Even in that, I don't think I gave all of my reasons for it, because if I were being real with you, I think the main reason why I didn't like it, like other than the stuff I said, was because of how long the chapters were. Like, that was like one of my biggest issues with it. This book is in total like, I think 12 chapters. It's over 300 pages long. You can guess how long each chapter is based off of that. There was one chapter that I just felt was like unnecessarily long. It was like 40 pages. I was like, whoa. Let's calm ourselves. And I hate chapters that are long in books. I feel like it makes the book drag on. Like, it's okay to just stop. It's okay. Especially because for me, I like to pause with reading when I'm done with the chapter. I couldn't pause. Each chapter just got longer, and I was like, ugh, I can't keep talking about this book. I can't. I need to let it go. For my own sanity, I'm letting it go. Yeah, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Just not a fun experience. The next book is one that I'm a little iffy about getting rid of because I am going to be reading the sequel sometime before the year is over, but it's another book series that I know I don't need to own because I like it, but I don't like it enough to keep it. Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. If you've been with this channel, hell, if you've been with my book videos on my previous channel, my other channel, you know my history with this book. I've been hearing about this book since before its creation. It was just like a myth, a rumor in the book community for a long time of when this book was going to get released, and I was following that for years because I knew the premise and I loved the premise, and so I was like, I'm so down because it has to do with vampires and a heist, and that's just all very fun for me. I started following the talks about this book in like 2020. It finally came out last year, and I read it for like my vampire month back in October of last year. Remember that fun video that I made? I read it for that month, and though I enjoyed it, there were some issues in the book that I wasn't really all that fond of. Whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna be reading the sequel still because I think it's just a duology, so might as well finish it out because although I had like a few problems with the first book, the characters in the book are so like, I love them. I love them all. And the story itself is like okay, which is something I don't want to say after like hyping up this duology for like literal years, but it's okay. It's something I've come to terms with, and it's good enough where I want to continue it. And it was also my first Hafsa Faisal book. She wrote We Hunt the Flame, and I haven't read that. So as like a first introduction to her and her storytelling and her writing, I thought this was pretty decent. Do I need to keep it though? Absolutely not. I will be reading the sequel again, like I said, sometime before the year's over, just to knock it out. But yeah, I won't be buying it. Just because you read a book doesn't mean you have to own it. Okay, next book is one That just has to go because I look at this and I don't feel the need to pick it up and read it. I think I got it because I have this obsession with like the moon and the moon phases and mermaids and sirens and all of that and what the moon does to the ocean, you know, all that stuff. I have an obsession with that. So when I saw a fantasy, a specifically YA fantasy about that, I was like hooked. And then I never read it. Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know what it's about other than what I've told you, and I got that just based off of the cover alone. I don't think I've actually read what this book is about. I saw some reviews about it and people talking about it, so I'm not just gonna act like, oh, I went into this book completely blind and got it completely blind. No, I saw some people talk about it on like social media and I was like, this could be a cute fun read, and then I never read it, and I don't think I'm ever going to read it, so I can get rid of it. And I can say that proudly. It's too thick to just take up room on my shelf and not get read. It's gotten to that point where I'm just like, if you're like over 300 pages and you're really not getting read, you've been on my shelf for like a year or two or longer, you can't stay here. Free rent and all, like no. What's next? Ooh, I forgot that I had this book in here. Oh, I'm actually really upset. But I know I can get rid of it. I know I can. I'm going to be getting rid of This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. This book is one that I talked about a while ago, I think. I read it as like a book club with a few of my coworkers and I really liked it. It's a really cute book. If you like K-dramas, I think you would like this book. Not only because it takes place in South Korea, but like literally it hits all of the K-drama feels, tropes, vibes, whatever you want to call it. It's so cute. And it's a book that me and my coworkers collectively enjoyed and got to talk about, which is why I have such fond memories of it. But I don't really need to keep it because although I liked it, I didn't like it that much. It came out, I think, last year, and it opened me up to this author's other books. I have another book by her on my shelf that I have yet to read, but I do want to get to that. It's like, I think, her first adult fantasy book, because I know that she's just known to write YA romance books. I'm very curious what she does with fantasy because this was really fun. But again, I don't need to own it. It's okay. I do recommend it though, like seriously, if you like K-dramas, this might be the book for you. As someone who likes K-dramas, I can say that. I had a fun time. Okay, the next one pains me to let go of, but I don't know why, because I know I'm just gonna get a different version of this book. So like, it's not that deep. It's really not that deep, Marina. I'm getting rid of my Barnes & Noble Classics edition, I think, of Pride and Prejudice. I don't know why I'm confused. I don't know what this edition is called. I know you can only get this type of edition at Barnes & Noble though, so I think this is just a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. You guys know me. I liked Pride and Prejudice, and one day I want to get through all of Jane Austen's books one day, and yeah, I want to own them as well if I do end up liking them. And because I did like Pride and Prejudice, I want to own a copy of it that I can actually read from. As pretty as this copy is, its pages are stiff. I think it's because of the sprayed edges. It's not like readable for real. Like, it's just there to be pretty. And you guys know me, I love a pretty book. Like, to be honest, this has been on my shelves for as long as it has been because it's pretty. Like, look at its face card. Look at it. It's stunning. But I don't need to keep it because of that. I think I just want a copy of Pride and Prejudice that I can go back to and read from without worrying about like damaging it or whatever, because it does have a leather casing and stuff, so like I'm always worried about like creasing it or ripping it, and I feel like that just takes the fun out of reading a book. I've been picking this book up on and off again all year, not actually finishing it, but because it's my one and only copy of Pride and Prejudice, it's the only one I can read from, I think I'm just gonna get rid of it and buy a copy that I can actually go back and read. Especially now that it's fall. Pride and Prejudice is one of those books I look at as like a fall book. Just like how everyone looks at the Pride and Prejudice movie as the movie of fall. It's between that and Twilight. Two vastly different movies, but you know what I mean? It's one of those seasonal reads for me that I would like to reread, but I need a different copy of it in order to do so. Trust that's gonna be getting done sooner rather than later. Next book pains me to let go of. It does, because I have heard about this duology for a while and I've been wanting to read it, and so when I got a used copy of the first one, I was really excited in the moment, and I think now I can confidently say that I don't think I'm going to be picking this book up, not because like the plot doesn't still intrigue me or anything. It's just because like, I don't know, nothing about it just gives, oh, I need to read that immediately. Like, there are some books that I still want to read in this pile, but like, I know I don't need to own them. I can get to them down the line, and even then I don't need to buy them when I get to them. I think this is genuinely me growing as a person, so like don't mind me, the growth is in the room with us. But Wings of Ebony by JL, I've heard great things about this. Great. And the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, again, do I want to let this go? Because I know it follows Greek mythology, but like a black girl's perspective from it. You know me, Percy Jackson fangirl over here, make it black. I'm done. I'm sold. But I also heard like mixed reviews about the ending to this book, like the sequel for it. I've heard a little bit of mixed reviews, which is why I think I've been so put off by it. Because if I'm going to start a first book in a duology that's as good as people make it seem, just to have like a mid ending, I'm going to probably not be happy. And I only want to read books that make me happy. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this go for now. Maybe down the line, years from now, I'll read it. But I know, based off of me owning it for the past few years, that that's not gonna be anytime soon. Okay, the next few books are actually arcs. I have a lot of arcs because of my job. So don't mind me as I let some of these go. I have no feelings about any of these at all. I don't even know what they're about. My coworker was just like, oh, I saw this arc that we got in, you should definitely take it, it seems up your alley. And then I never read them. Oopsies. Coworker, if you're saying this, I'm so sorry. The Last Raven by Helen Glenn Jones. I think she just gave this to me because I am a romantasy girl at heart, but I don't know, it wasn't giving. I heard that it's a mixture of like Twilight and True Blood, and again, vampires. I love me some vampires. I don't know nothing about it, was like, I have to read this. And it came out this year, so if anyone read it, let me know if it's actually good. But I don't need to own the arc for a book that I'm not like die hard about, you know? Next book is another romantasy. It's Gate to Kagoshima by Poppy Kuroki. I think this is like Japanese mythology fantasy. I'm pretty sure. And I think that the sequel to this just came out like a month ago, I want to say. But this book came out in February, so I'm like, damn, she's getting through those books really quick. That's crazy. And again, I don't know what they're about for real. I just know like the basic premises based off of how like my coworker sold them to me. The next one is one that I think I might keep. I think it depends on how I'm feeling. Because I was told to start this months ago. The Wilderness by Angela Florney. This book recently did come out. It came out on my birthday, funnily enough. So I'm gonna take that as a good sign. Maybe I should read it. But because I've had this book, I'm not kidding, since like March, I think, if not earlier than that. Maybe it's a sign I should get rid of it. But my friend was like, I think you will like it. It's about like 5 black women and their lives in the city and their friendship, and it kind of reads like a play. So everything about it is like interesting to me, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit on this one. This is like the one book in this pile that I'm like iffy on getting rid of, because since I do have the arc, it's just convenient for me to like get through it now, even though it is published. I don't know. If you've read The Wilderness by Angela Florney, let me know what you think about it and if I should read it, because I don't know. I also think this takes place in Detroit. I'm like 95% sure. Or is the author just from Detroit? I don't remember. But because of that, it just hits close to home. So everything about that book has been confusing me, because that went in my pile weeks ago, but I've been staring at it trying to figure out if I want to get rid of it. Next book is one that I've always said I'll pick up on a rainy day. I don't know if you guys can hear it outside. It's raining today. Did not feel the need to pick this up, and I've had this book for years. This is one of those books that I just bought randomly simply because, oh, the title is fun. This might be fun. I don't think I'm ever gonna read this book. The Messy Lives of Book People by Phaedra Patrick. Yeah, Phaedra Patrick. I don't know. I've had it forever. There's no reason why. I've always said, oh, it's just one of those books that I'll just pick up and grab off the shelf randomly and read and not know what it's about. I can't remember a time I've ever done that in my life. Most of these books I buy blindly, but if I'm picking it up off the shelf, it's because I've probably read a synopsis or I've heard a review about it online, and so like that's my time to read it. With this one, I've never heard anything. I've never bothered to look at the back of it. I think it's about a maid though, like a maid who is getting told her boss's life story through books. I might have just made that up actually. I don't know. I'm getting rid of it though, so it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's done. It's gone. Next book is one that I'm kind of sad to get rid of, but I'm also not, because this book holds no like real value to me, and you guys are probably gonna be shocked by that when you find out what it is, but it's like, it was a good book in the moment, and I'm glad that I read it for the first time this year, but I don't need to own it because I don't see myself needing to keep this book. As I go through this author's other works in the future, I feel like this is the one that's just not gonna like be the one that hits me the hardest, so I think I can get rid of it. Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. You guys know that this was one of my classics that I decided to read for this year. I think I read it as my May classic, or was it April? I have no idea. Either way, I did read it. I finished it and I liked it. I think my review of that book was very odd and even now as I sit down and tell you why I'm unhauling it, I can't really explain to you why I felt the need to. It's not a book that I feel the need to keep. Like, there are some classics this year that I have gone out of my way to buy and own, and Parable of the Sower, it was a good book, but it's not a book that I need to keep. And like I said, I want to get through all of Octavia E. Butler's books, and I just feel like out of all the ones I've heard about, though this is arguably her most popular book, I think I will find more that I like and would want to own. And I know in my heart that I don't need to own this book based off of what I thought about it before. And I do believe I'm gonna reread it at some point in my life and actually give like a good critique of it and my thoughts, but my brain was scrabbled when I finished that book and my review of it was a little bit hard to follow. And again, now I have no real words to describe this book and my thoughts about it. Good book. I just don't need to own it. And yeah, that was the last one. Well, technically the last one is The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik, but this is the sequel to A Deadly Education, which I already told you guys I am gladly unhauling. So yeah, this is the end of the video. Should I count how many books I'm getting rid of? I think I'm gonna do it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A few moments later.
I'm getting rid of 23 books. That's actually not bad. Compared to how many I've been buying, that's not terrible. Like I said, this has been like weeks in the making of me just like going through my shelves, trying to pick out books that I really know I'm not looking to keep anymore. And I think I did that successfully. And while some of these are harder to get rid of than others, I know it needs to be done so I can make room for this pile of books right here that's been on my wall forever that just need to go somewhere on my shelf. Get ready for a reorganization video sometime soon. Again, because this one took me weeks simply because I was trying to figure out what to get rid of, I don't think the reorganization video is going to take that long to come out, but I don't know. That takes a lot of energy, reorganizing my shelves, and I don't really know when I'm going to be in the mood to do that. Because if you guys were here for the last time I did that, it was a lot of back and forth movement. It took me like literally hours to do, and I don't even have that big of shelves. So yeah, I'm gonna need to be in the right headspace to do that, but trust, it will get done before the year of 2025 is over, because I need to start 2026 with a new mindset, with books that I only want to read on my shelves. So yeah, look out for that video in the near future. But with that being said, I hope that you guys did enjoy this. If there are any books that you've recently unhauled, let me know. We are going through this together, guys. We're spring cleaning in the month of October. Weird time to do it, but better late than never, you know? And again, this is just gonna make me a lot happier with the way my shelves look, because this looks crazy. My shelves behind me, you guys can't even see them fully, but they look absolutely insane. I think when I finally put the stack of books next to me on these shelves, it's gonna do something to my heart, you know, instead of constantly looking at books that I know I'm not gonna want to read. I think that it's needed, and I think that that's gonna be a fun thing to tackle. Let me know what you think of this video down in the comments below, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, you can follow me on social media too. Link down in the description below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.